Ladies and gentlemen, Fleck Zone family, what is up? Happy Thursday, or as I like to say, Friday Eve. It is great day to be alive. September 25th, 2025. Yours truly, God's favorite host here, back again with another live stream here today on this Thursday. Happy hour, you're getting off work, whatever you may be doing. I appreciate you tuning in, tapping in, letting me know what's going on. As we got a midweek update, we're going to go around some of the sports things that were on my mind. I want to talk and share with the good people here on YouTube and on X. And if you are watching on X, make sure you come on over to what we do here on YouTube, the mothership. Subscribe, hit the thumbs up, vote on the poll as well in the chat. Let me know what is the Ravens' biggest long-term concern as we head through the season. We are going to get to that, but let's start with a little bit of baseball because we do cover the Orioles as well, and we know their season is coming to an end. No playoffs. They are officially eliminated from playoff contention. Last few games, they're finishing up their final home game of the season today, trailing 5-2 currently right now in the top of the eighth. And they will head to the New York Yankees in the Bronx this weekend to finish out the season. But great news as Trevor Rogers, yes, Mr. Rogers' neighborhood at Camden Yards, wins the most valuable Oriole award. Big shout out to Mr. Rogers. He was named the Baltimore Orioles MVP, most valuable Oriole this season. And many would never have seen this coming with Trevor Rogers. When he was traded here, he was second in Rookie of the Year. But to see what he has become this season is unfathomable. But many thought the Orioles lost that trade. They saw what Kyle Stowers did this year. He was an all-star, and this was in 2024. They sent Kyle Stowers and Connor Norby to Miami in exchange for Trevor Rogers. Now, Stowers had an all-star campaign, and Norby was contributing. Rogers had a 7.11 ERA in 4 starts last year following the trade, and he was in AAA where they optioned him. Late September, it's complete 180. Tuesday, this past Tuesday, he was named the winner of the 2025 Lewis M. Hader Most Valuable Oriole Award, which is voted on by members of the local media who cover the team on a regular basis. The 27-year-old left-hander was recognized during an on-field ceremony prior to the O's winning 6-0 over the Rays on Wednesday. Rogers was the first pitcher to be named MVO. I like the sound of that since Rodrigo Lopez back in 2002. Rogers is also the fourth left-handed hurler to receive the award, only the fourth left-hander, which was handed out following the team's first season in 1954, joining Dave McNally in 1968, Mike Culler in 1974, and Randy Myers in 1997. He says, and I quote, "I'm honored to be in the elite company that has this awards pass. My entire journey that I've been on since I've gotten here had a bumpy start, but not the start I've wanted, but seeing where we are today was worth it going through those struggles." Gunnar Henderson won the award back-to-back in 2003 and 2004, was one of the 8 players to receive votes. Dylan Beavers, I get it. Dylan Carlson, hell no, you need your vote revoked. Colton Cowser, who the hell is voting Colton Cowser most valuable Oriole? They need to be slapped upside their head one time and slapped one more time for putting damn Dylan Carlson on it. Dean Kramer and Tommy Sagano and Tony Mazzolino even appeared on the ballot. I didn't know managers could win most valuable Oriole as well. Each member of the media submits a 3-man ballot with a 5-3-1 scoring system utilized as well. Rogers was deserving for his excellent pitching past 3 months. He began the season, remember, hurt. We thought this was a failed trade. Had a right knee subluxation, which was basically a dislocated knee, and then pitching in AAA until mid-June. But after that May 24th start in Boston at Fenway, you look at Tony Mazzolino's managerial record and Trevor Rogers, he has put something great together in this season that has been unforgettable for a lot of reasons. The injuries, the inconsistencies of the offense, the inconsistencies and lack of pitching, starting pitching specifically, the trade deadline where you basically sell off all of your high pieces that you had and valuable assets. You bring up some guys for the future. Guys that you have here that are part of the core aren't producing. Then guys are still, as I mentioned, getting injured. We don't know the status of Grayson Rodriguez. A big offseason ahead. Mike Elias apparently got promoted, but this happened last year, but it was not announced, and it still hasn't been announced, but they're going to hire a GM and a manager potentially. But through 17 starts, Rogers has a phenomenal 1.35 ERA, 0.87 whip, 100 strikeouts, and 106 and 2/3 innings. Ranks first on the team with a 6.0 B WAR, the highest by a lefty in O's history since 1954, and best by a Baltimore pitcher since Hall of Famer Moose Mike Messina posted a 6.1 mark in 1995. Rogers still has one more start this season before it is over. What he's done has been historic in a lot of ways, says manager Tony Manzolino, and the backstory is just awesome as well. He's the only pitcher in franchise history to allow 2 or fewer runs in 15 consecutive outings. He'll carry into his final start of the season. He'll be on Yankee Stadium this weekend as he will start the final series against the Yankees as well. And it kind of just is what it is for Trevor Rogers and the Orioles, but great job by him. And again, big ups to Trevor Rogers. Now we're going to go out west. We're going to take a trip out west because we had a fantastic night of baseball last night. If you were up late, if you were watching, the big dumper hit his 60th home run of the season. Now we are going to party like it's 2001 because the Seattle Mariners are once again American League West champions. Congratulations to the Seattle Mariners. I don't know if you guys remember the 2001 Mariners, I believe, set the record for most wins in a Major League Baseball regular season. So they'll be talking about this night for years to come. T-Mobile Park, remember, it's now T-Mobile Park, used to be Safeco Park. 2,092 regular season home game for the Mariners since it opened in July 15, 1999. Yet the 42,883 in attendance will always remember the night that the Star fan base got a division title. They clinched the American League West with a 9-2 win over the lowly Colorado Rockies. Since their 2001 116 win campaign, it was one of the most energetic environments in sports this past week. It was a playoff feel, and you could just feel the moment as well. And Cal Raleigh delivered, which was 59 and 60, a multi-home run day for, I think, a guy that should be considered for MVP, in my opinion, just because of what he's doing and the team's record. It just seems so fitting. Manager of the Mariners, Dan Wilson, said Riley hit a 438-foot solo shot the first inning that reached the third deck beyond right field as well. A new banner will hang in opening day 2026 as well. And a sizable, crazy amount of tickets going out on one day. 6,832 tickets were sold on Wednesday, more than 50% of the total crowd, as the Seattle fans in the Great Northwest are hungry. Borrowing from Ichiro Suzuki, seize the moment. Hall of Famer Ichiro Suzuki as well. And it's crazy because the Seattle Mariners made the moves at the deadline. Get Eugenio Suarez, getting Josh Naylor. You think about some of the moves that they made, they didn't click immediately. It was a time in August where they were playing under 500 baseball with Raleigh, with Naylor, with Suarez in the lineup. Don't forget J-Rod, Julio Rodriguez, the young stud that he is, former AL Rookie of the Year. You see, and an all-star, you see this team, they were struggling. And sometimes it takes time for pieces to fit together and work. And I think that was the case with the Seattle Mariners because we know how great their pitching has been. We know how good their pitching and their plethora of young arms, controllable arms that maybe the Orioles need to explore to get in a trade are what made this team very good. But you add in Kyle Riley's career year. You get Suarez, you get Naylor, you got Julio Rodriguez. You got Rosarena, who they traded for a few years back. J.P. Crawford is a really good infielder. So they got a lot of pieces. And another multi-home run game for Kyle Raleigh. Actually, let's take a look at the home run from Mr. Raleigh last night. Like I said, it was a very energetic moment, a very energetic just feel for the just city of Seattle. Like I said, the Great Northwest, and those fans, you know, they are starved for a deep playoff run, their first division title in 24 years since 2001. Oh man, what a good time that was back in 2001, just thinking about it. But the year 2001, we just crossed into the new millennium. The Mariners won 116 games, and they were eliminated in the first round of the playoffs. Let's take a look and listen to Kyle Riley's historic home run for the Big Dumper. Never thought I'd put Big Dumper in the title, by the way. So If you're new here, make sure you hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell. Let's take a look at Cal Raleigh's 60th home run last night as the Seattle Mariners clinched the American League East against the Colorado Rockies, and he hits number 6. Right there, an MVP moment for Cal Raleigh, and it's crazy has done, and the ability of being a catcher. And I got a video here. We're going to look at all 60 of his home runs. The ability of being a catcher. Matter of fact, we'll look at this. We'll play this in a second, actually. But just being a catcher, let me come back to you guys real quick. Just the ability of being a catcher, as I have a thought on my mind. Being a catcher, the wear and tear on your body. It's like being an offensive lineman in football. The wear and tear on your body every single play, and for a catcher, every single pitch. So as long as you're in the game, you're catching every pitch. You're calling the game. You're calling the pitches. You're communicating with guys who may not speak the same language as you, who may not understand the words you're saying. And you have to communicate what pitches to throw in certain situations and work with the manager and the pitching coach and other members of the staff and other teammates in the infield. So to be able to do all of that night in and night out, hit the post, and still contribute at a high level, the highest of all highest levels, being an MVP candidate, that is something crazy to really, really think about. But I see you guys in the chat. We're going to get to the Ravens, but I did want to show you guys this wonderful video of Cal Raleigh's 60 home runs. Here we go. It's about 2 minutes.
And the batter will be catcher Cal Raleigh. The 2-0 pitch to Cal, swinging a high fly ball deep to left field. Carpenter going back to the one he tracked near the wall, and this one is gone. Goodbye baseball. Cal Raleigh with his first home run of the season.
Crushed. This ball is blasted, and it might keep going. Lieber. Another one. Is it on its way? Fair! He is unstoppable. Julio. This is smashed down the line. This ball is gone. It's out of Wrigley. This is blasted way back. Cal Raleigh, how far? Wow. Fly ball blasted out to center field. Cal Raleigh's done it. A go-ahead 3-run 8th-inning homer. Here's the pitch. Cal, blast up, left field, there it goes! Fly ball driven, way back there, left field, take cover, number 50. Fly ball, right field, foul pole, it is fair and gone! Move over, Mick. Cal Raleigh is the new switch hitting home run king. Cal, deep, the opposite way, and history! Home runs!
Ain't baseball great? I mean, you know, it reminds me of McGuire, Sosa, and speaking of which, is just the 7th player in MLB baseball history to hit 60 home runs, joining, I'm glad they put this on the graphic, the man himself, Barry Bonds, who should be in the Hall of Fame. Because you can't have the Hall of Fame without guys like Barry Bonds, guys like Roger Clemens, guys like Sammy Sosa, guys like Mark McGuire. Those are things that you have to consider when you think about the game of baseball, as I believe the Orioles just tied the game up. How about a little extra Mayo? Kobe Mayo goes deep. I think that was to the deep left field. But Barry Bonds was 73. Mark McGuire with 70. He even had 65 one season. So he had 2 seasons of over 60. One of 65, one of 70. Barry Bonds was 73. Sosa, he did it 3 times, 66, 64, 63. Judge has the American League record with 62, which Raleigh still has a chance to tie or break. Roger Maris, can't forget him, the OG, 61, and Babe Ruth, 60. It's crazy because he's the first person in the American League who's not a Yankee to join his club. And I think Adley Rutschman with the double, as the Orioles are coming back. But Cal Raleigh hitting number 60, I think he gets another 1 or 2 in him before the season is over. I mean, they don't have much to play for, so he may not play as much. But being a switch, being a catcher that, like I said, hits both sides of the plate, you catch every day, you post, it's great to see. But I want to play this last video from his perspective, and then we'll get into the rest of the MLB because we got a choke job in Detroit, and then I'm going to get to the Ravens. I got you guys. So a great angle there, shot of the big dumper. Man, you see why they call him the big dumper. He's strong. He's got great power. Switch hitter, can drive the ball with the best of them. Really good bat to ball contact. The ability, like I said, to go the other way as well. Things like that are very, very important to a hitter. And like I said, being a catcher, being out there every day is definitely not an easy task. I will definitely say that. And when you think about it, he is a guy that can carry you in a series. That's why right now, and I got the bracket. Let's look at the bracket for the baseball postseason, because I do want to look at that real quick to get an idea of kind of as of today, entering Thursday, what we're looking at. But as you see here, I don't know how you feel about who's going to the World Series. We have and I'll make it a little bit larger so we all can see as a class. But as you can see, we got the Tigers, who would barely be in against potentially the Guardians again. You got the Sox and the Yankees. I pray to God that happens. Please let that happen. We want the Sox and the Yankees in a best of 3. Winner goes on to face another AL East team, the Toronto Blue Jays. Seattle would be the 2 seed, and then in the NL West, the Brewers and the Phillies, man. I mean, my goodness, Jesus Christ. You think about Brewers potentially winning almost 100 games, dominating the NL West. They just win, baby, but they haven't done it in the postseason. And the Philly, this is a make or break year for them. We know Dave Dombrowski. He'll make drastic moves. He'll move on if he has to. And if they don't get it done this year, Kyle Schwarber, you got Bryce Harper, you got the wonderful pitching staff. It's going to be interesting to see. They may be my pick if it's a situation where you get the Dodgers and the Mets potentially again. That's anybody's series. I mean, the Mets are kind of limping into the playoffs also, but you got the Padres and the Cubs. I like the Padres over the Cubs. I just think the Padres potentially could be a team to get to the NLCS. No Ramon Laureano potentially. Well, no Laureano for the first round for sure. So you got O'Hearn, you got others, but Machado and those guys, Tatis Jr., let's see what they can get done. Now, that would be something I could see the Padres beating the Brewers, and I could see the Padres getting to the NLCS to potentially go against a winner of a Phillies-Dodgers second round or NLDS matchup. I mean, that would be crazy. That would be ratings. That would be a draw. You want to watch some great October postseason baseball? You tap into Phillies Dodgers. The Dodgers are getting healthy at the right time. The bullpen's shaky. Philly is hot as anybody right now. They can match with the best of them. You think about Cal Raleigh. You think about Kyle Schwarber. Think about the power that those two men possess. Like I said, I could see Seattle getting to the World Series. I could see they got the pitching, and that's the most important thing. And the offense is good as any in the American League or the National League. So you can have a situation where Seattle gets to the World Series. And I think out of the Yankees and the Red Sox, I mean, if the winner of that gets hot, they could be in the World Series. I mean, Boston with Roman Anthony hurt, unfortunately, that's not good. But the Yankees with Max Fried winning damn near 20 games this season. Did he win 20? I think he won 20 games this season. Yeah, that would be great for the game. I mean, like I said, the Yankees, I think, are better this year than last year. A little more well-rounded also with the lineup. Bellinger, you got Grisham hitting well. Of course, all rise. Stanton is having a really good year, even though he battled some injuries early on. And I think that the Blue Jays, they can't prove it either. They're like the Brewers and the Blue Jays are kind of the same. You know, they have these good regular seasons. They get number 1 seeds, and they fizzle out in the first round of the playoffs. They don't even win a series. And for the Blue Jays, I don't even think they won a game in a while. So It's crazy to think about it there as well, but you kind of would see the teams right now if we did indeed have the playoffs starting today. Now, the Blue Jays and Yankees are tied in the AL East, but the Blue Jays have clinched the head-to-head tiebreaker. The Guardians lead the Tigers by 1 game. The Guardians were up by, I know Alex put it in the chat. I mean, 15-game lead in the division, and that was just this month, the month of September. That's why it's never over until it's over. You got to play 27 outs. You got to show up each and every day and give it all that you got. You have to bring it to the ballpark, not just in April, but throughout the season, and especially in September, because you want to be playing your best baseball going into the playoffs. You don't want to be like the Tigers playing your worst baseball going into the playoffs. You don't want to be like the Mets on life support, barely getting by with a $500 million payroll. I mean, Soto's having a great year, but the brother needs some help. The brother needs some assistance, and they made a lot of moves at the deadline, maybe not as many as their fan base would have liked to, especially for the starting pitching, which is lacking, and I thought it lacked all season, and I didn't think they were a World Series team. I thought maybe in another year or so, because I think Soto was the foundational piece you want to have as the O's get a nice out there with 2 outs in the top of the ninth, Keegan Aiken in the pitch, but you don't deserve to be in the damn playoffs. And I feel bad for Tarek Skubal, hell of a pitcher, the best pitcher in the game right now. I feel bad for AJ Hinch, a really good manager, despite of his past in Houston. He can definitely do what he needs to do to be effective when it comes to the game of baseball. So we'll see what happens there. I think the Tigers still make it in. I'm going with the Tigers to get in there, but we shall indeed see. The Red Sox can clinch a berth with a win today against the Blue Jays or an Astros loss. The Guardians can clinch with a win over the Tigers and the A's beating the Astros as well. The A's aren't going to go out quietly, so they're going to try to spoil everything they can as well. And if they beat the Rockies today, the Mariners do clinch a bye in the wild card as well. The Brewers can clinch the number 1 seed and home field advantage with a win, and if the Marlins beat the Phillies as well. So it's going to be a fun end of the season for us baseball fans. You'll get a full baseball preview with me for the playoffs when we get there next week. Remember, the regular season ends on Sunday, so the marathon of 162 is coming to an end, but the final race, the sprint to the World Series in October, is coming up. Let's get to it. It has been a rough week for the Ravens nonetheless, not just despite of what happened on the field. It's more or less what's happening off the field. We knew, or at least I did, coming into this season that the first 6 games would be interesting. It would not be easy. You play 5 out of those 6 teams were playoff teams last year. I know last year is last year and this year is this year, but you think about the teams they had to play, the quarterbacks specifically. I always like to look at the quarterbacks. Whatever team you are a fan of, and this is just my personal suggestion. When you look at a game, when you look at a matchup of your team against another team, you first and foremost, the first thing you look at, who is the quarterback? You look at week 1, you had Josh Allen. I'm telling you now, on September 25th, 2025 at 3:58 Eastern Time, the Buffalo Bills will be the number 1 seed in the AFC. Okay? I'm not breaking any news, but they will be the number 1 seed. So I'm giving them the crown now. You know, maybe that's the kiss of death, but I'm giving them the crown now. So if you want to get to the Super Bowl in the AFC, you want that Lamar Hunt trophy, you are going to have to go into Buffalo in the cold, in the wind, against that gazelle, a more athletic Big Ben Roethlisberger, Josh Allen. He's the MVP, whether you want to like it or not. And you're going to have to beat that team. Can the Ravens do that? I think they can. They would be due to, but we got a long way to go before we get there, because the Ravens at this rate may not even get to that point the way that they are playing. You know, they on Monday Night Football. The world was watching. I think this was one of the highest viewed Monday Night Football games of the season in the past few years. So you got Jimmy Kimmel back. He's doing numbers. You got the Ravens on Monday night against Detroit. They are doing numbers as well. But the big news, the unfortunate news, are the injuries. And this team, I think, like I said, what is your biggest concern? I want to hear from you in the poll, and make sure you guys hit that thumbs up. I have a few, because if I take a step back, I mean, we cannot discount. We have to start on a high note. We have to start with positivity, because I think lost in all of this, and I'm not going to say it's lost, because I have seen it frequently in the past few days, looking at everybody talking about the game and kind of what happened and kind of where they think things could end up for the Baltimore pressure high. I don't think season is over. And I saw this and his just play overall with the best quarterback rating of all time, the QBRs, the overall just completion percentage. Stat of the week. I mean, Lamar Jackson, 27 straight games with a passing touchdown, longest active streak in the NFL. And I think we just had a walk-off home run for the Orioles. Oh, that was dope. He gave him the Ravens helmet. Orioles got the best celebration in baseball. Too bad they're not in the playoffs. They got the Ravens helmet, gave him the football, and he did the walk-off. So what a way to end the home slate for the Orioles. But back to the Ravens. Lamar Jackson, 27 straight games with a passing touchdown, longest active streak in the NFL. I mean, what more do you need to say about Lamar Jackson? What more does he need to do to be the best quarterback in the game? I mean, he is right now. I mean, regardless, like whoever your team is, however you feel about the Ravens, Lamar Jackson is the best quarterback in the National Football League right now. And I think that is something that cannot be lost. Now, also, and I've seen this floating around, I do not want these prime years of Lamar wasted. I think someone equated it to the Drew Brees years. We remember how great Drew Brees was. He would throw for 5,000 yards every season. He would throw for damn near 50 touchdowns. He would complete damn near all of his passes. He was surgical with his precision. He won some games, but he never got back to, well, Drew Brees did win the Super Bowl, but he never got back to the heights of winning a Super Bowl. You look at Aaron Rodgers, all those years of his great numbers, the MVPs, he never got back to a Super Bowl. Lamar obviously is trying to get to one, but what I'm going with this is these prime years, these years of Lamar Jackson being the supreme athlete, where he's the best athlete on the field, where he's the fastest guy, which I think, in my opinion, the speed seems like it's not as explosive, but I also think that is also of how teams are playing this offense, because my first concern is what I'm tailing it back to, starting with the offense. Who is going to be able to, and what I mean by that, Todd Monken, John Harbaugh being the head coach, who is going to be able to scheme? What are the Ravens going to do to run the football with 8 men in a box? If you notice, teams are doing the same thing. It's a copycat league. So we're putting 8 men in a box. We're not letting Derrick Henry beat us, because once Derrick Henry gets going, he's hard to bring down. So what we're doing is we're putting 8 men in the box. We're coming down and playing a run. And then in doing that, what we're also doing is when you do drop back to pass, we're playing man-to-man coverage. We're playing one-on-one against your receivers and your tight ends. And what we're doing with that is we have a quarterback spy on Lamar Jackson. And I think the Detroit Lions and their defensive coordinator, he did a hell of a job. Dan Campbell leading the way. They schemed a hell of a game. Now, everybody doesn't have that personnel, and it's not going to work against a Lamar Jackson, but the athleticism of Detroit, you've seen it against Cleveland, who may have the best defense in the league. You got some tough defenses you're going to still have to play. The Rams, you got the Texans, but even the Chiefs, I still think are very, very good, because that boy 95, Chris Jones, Carl Loftus on the outside, they have some people that can get after you as a unit. Now, my biggest concern is, like you said, you saw it on the short yardage play. You go back to Buffalo last year. They did a trick pass, or they couldn't even convert last year in Buffalo in the playoff game. Then you also look at what the aspect of what is going to be happening when it comes to goal line. They couldn't punch it in from the 1 yard line. They couldn't get enough of a push. Now, I don't really like seeing Ben Cleveland. I don't really think much of Note Boom. I think we need to bring in a guy who was playing well in the preseason, a guy who did well in training camp, a guy who made this team, who was on the practice squad last year. And oh, by the way, former University of Maryland, he's a Terp. The one and only Corey Bullock needs to be inserted. Bring him in as that extra offensive lineman. Bring him in to allow him to get that extra push, because Cleveland isn't cutting it. Note Boom isn't cutting it. Bring in Corey Bullock to play in those short yardage, down and distance situations, and don't get cute. Don't try a halfback pass. If we're gonna throw the football with Lamar Jackson, maybe move him outside of the pocket a time or two. Let him use his athleticism because the defense is going to already draw into him and have eyes on him to run. It gives you an opportunity to throw the football. Now, the receivers didn't do a great job of winning one-on-one on Monday night, but you see teams are going to put A in the box, put that quarterback spy, and they're not going to let Zay beat you over the top. So with that being said, Bateman, Andrews, they came to the party. Love to see it. We'll see this week because, oh yeah, the Chiefs got Trent McDuffie, former All-Pro, man up, man on man. I would not expect a big day from Zay Flowers personally. I'm looking at Bateman. I'm looking at Andrews. Hopefully the return of Isaiah likely soon to come. But on offense, that is my biggest concern. Actually, the Ravens have not incurred, and you can let me know in the chat, a lot of penalties I've seen also, especially on offense. Not a lot of false starts, not a lot of holdings, not a lot of illegal man downfield. They have done a decent job. I haven't seen really a lot of delayed games. They've done a decent job with the penalties. So they're not beating themselves with the penalties. They have to find a way to run the football against an 8-man front, a stacked box. They're going to have to find a way to run the football. And Derrick Henry, hold on to the damn ball. Derrick Henry's not going to be benched. Now, I do think we need to add in a Keaton Mitchell because you need a guy that can hit the angle, a guy that can outrun the defense, a guy that can get to the edge. Keaton Mitchell, if I had to wager, he will be in a lineup on Sunday. We need Keaton Mitchell in the game because what he can do is, yeah, you see Derrick Henry, he can't get to the outside like a Keaton Mitchell can. Like I said, Keaton Mitchell can outrun the defense. He can outrun angles. He's a home run hitter. You saw one on Monday night, really, too, because I didn't know David Montgomery still had that in him, like I was saying when we were watching the game. But Jahmyr Gibbs, that explosiveness, that ability to shoot from out of the cannon to get to the outside that the Ravens can do. Maybe a little more outside zone, a little toss play, maybe and even some option plays like you've seen with the Lions, some creativity, some trickery. And I always draw it back to something with pro wrestling. Like I said last week, you're not going to do anything new under the sun when it comes to the game of football, offensively, defensively, special team. But you can add in, just like your favorite seasonings, your favorite spices. You can add in a dose of unpredictability. You can add in a dose of creativity. And that's what I want to see from the Ravens offense. We know they're the best offense in the league. They're leading the league in points. But they have to get creative because teams aren't going to change up what they do. It is indeed a copycat league. Now, we do have the updated practice report from today for the Baltimore Ravens. And I got some fresh sound for you as well, as we heard from the coordinators today, as we are getting ready for the trip to Kansas City. Remember, that is a prime time game on Sunday afternoon, the national game of the week on CBS. And this is courtesy of our guy Jameson at ESPN. He has the practice report for the day, as mentioned. As you can see, the defensive line did get some good news. Unfortunately, we know no matter BK. I think personally he's probably done for the year. You know, he's going to be placed on IR probably by next week, in my opinion, and I think it's curtains for him on 2025. Now, I don't know about the severity of it. I don't know. They're speculating it could be a career-threatening injury. Never say never with the modern technology, modern medicine, the ability of surgery, and just like I said, modern medicine. It is something that I don't want to think about for the brother because he's our best pass rusher and one of our best run stuffers. Travis Jones returned to practice. He is a crucial part of the Ravens defensive front, and they gave up the Ravens, and I've never heard the Ravens in my lifetime in 30 years give up 224 rushing yards and 2 drives of 90-plus yards at home at that in primetime. Broderick Washington Jr. is still not back at practice, and Nnamdi Madubuike was ruled out by Harbaugh on Wednesday, as we mentioned as well. Ronnie Stanley missed a second straight day of practice with an ankle. If Stanley can't play, that would mean Joe Noteboom, who started 35 games over his 8-year career, would be thrust into the starting role. Now, do you put Noteboom on the right side and move Rosengarten to the left side if it's no Stanley? I don't know. That's intriguing. And it's going to be interesting to see. But John Jenkins, I think, did play decent on Monday. He had a lot of tackles. He did some things, but he's on the last leg of his career. He's in the fourth quarter. I don't have expected long-term effectiveness for him. Hopefully he stays up and healthy. But I also think Aeneas Peeble needs to play better. You know, he's a little guy. He needs to just be low man. Low man wins. Remember that in football, guys. Leverage, leverage, leverage. Now, they did add Josh Tupou and Taven Bryan, who was actually in the same draft as Lamar Jackson, to the practice squad this week. So there you go there. No Kyle Van Noy, so I think he's probably still another week away, even though he was on the side field. Patrick Ricard hasn't practiced yet. Roger Washington, no Matter BK, and no Ronnie Stanley as well. So it does look like, though, also Isaiah Life, I know he was in a limited capacity. He is probably on track on IR. That way you can maybe have an extra roster spot to do something. And I know people in the chat were talking about Christian Wilkins. I don't think the Ravens are going to make that move. I don't think, like I told Roger yesterday on stream, I don't think they're going to add anybody from outside the organization. The only person I thought they would have added was a guy like, only person really I thought they would add would be Clowney. And they really kind of dropped the ball on that because they should have signed him around training camp. Even if he didn't want to be here to train every day, you could give him the Jair situation. And where the hell is he at? Speaking of which, where is Jair at? Because his ass need to be on the field this week. His ass needs to be on the field this week playing in Kansas City. This is the game we need you for. If you're only going to play 9 or 10 games, these are the games we need you for. Kansas City, Buffalo, and playing at your best. So hopefully he's good to go. But this was the injury report yesterday. Nevertheless, I do want to see, like I said, Travis Jones, we need more from you. This is a contract year for you. This was as of Wednesday. This is a contract year for you, as you see, likely was limited. So there you have it. So I think he's on track to play. And hamstrings are tricky, so Van Noy may need another week or so, and he's older too. But Travis Jones, this is a career year for you. A lot of people are beating on the drum that you're going to be one of the breakout players, especially on defense. You could get 5 to 6 sacks. You could really be that piece to the defensive line, maybe with a Matter BK and yourself. Now, unfortunately, no Matter BK. You are the guy. You have to take over that role in the defensive line. You cannot be soft. You have to put the mindset of physicality. You're not going to let guys come into your house and take what's yours. You're going to be the bully. You're going to set the tone physically, and you're going to just be aggressive and play with heart. And that's something that you really, really need to do coming up down in Kansas City this week as well. So, we did have yesterday, we had Coach Harbaugh talking about the run defense. Let's hear from Coach Harps.
We'll be okay. We'll be fine. There's a lot of real simple things that we didn't do very well at times. We'll have the same play really against the same defense 2 different times, and one time it's no game because we're pretty much exactly where we're supposed to be, and another time we're not where we're supposed to be. And I think part of it's just trying to do too much sometimes. Sometimes we try to do more than our job, and that's not really required, So that's playing with a little more just calmness and belief in the whole structure and the 10 guys around you. Then also tackling in the back end. That's the other thing. It's like those runs, it shouldn't go to what they did. Those runs should be tackled, 8-10 yards if they break through the line, and we focusing on that as well.
So now I know the Harbaugh criticism. They want him gone. Everybody wants him fired. I have been a vocal Harbaugh, even apologist at times. A lot of these losses I can't put on him completely. Yes, he's a coach. He plays a part. I agree with you. But he isn't the reason they're losing these games. He isn't the reason they're fumbling. He isn't the reason they're throwing interception. He isn't the reason they're jumping off sides. He isn't the reason they can't get to the quarterback. He is working with the ingredients given to him by the chef, EDC, who does a fantastic job with drafting, developing, re-signing their own. But one area we have lacked, and I think that has maybe overtaken wide receiver Ravens flop. And this is something I've thought about over the past few weeks. I didn't say it, but you can let me know how you feel. Please chime in. This is your show as much as it is mine, and I appreciate you being here. The wide receiver position, the Ravens never could really hit on. Remember those days? Now you get Bateman, you get Flowers, you have Wallace, you got Devontae Walker. You got guys contributing. You got Wester returning punts. I think he's going to break one this season. You can put money on that. LeJohntay Wester is going to break a punt back this season at some point for the Ravens. Hey, maybe it's a playoff game when we really need it, and it looks like it's a dire situation. But nevertheless, I think you are going to have to probably put outside linebacker, DN, pass rusher that can consistently come in and contribute that we haven't had since Terrell Suggs from a draft and development standpoint. Is defensive lineman, outside linebacker, DN, pass rusher overtaken wide receiver as things we cannot draft and develop as a team as a roster, as an organization, because you got the great Chuck Smith, the pass rush guru. Your best pass rusher was Madubuike. Okay, that's your inside guy. Who on the outside is getting pressure? Van Noy, this is not probably his last year. He's not drafted and developed. Owe. Where has Owe been? This is a career year for Odafe Owe, and he's just sitting there dazed and confused and enjoying the show like he's one of us watching on the sideline. He needs to be woken up. Slap him upside his head. Do something, because this brother is going into a contract year. Travis Jones, like I just said, going into a contract year. You telling me Owe only had, 29 snaps, I believe I saw on Monday? And Mike Green had double that? And Ojabo, Obusto, a guy I like coming out, I was high on him. The injury kind of screwed him, it seems like. Seems like he was just another Sergio Kendall 2.0. I mean, I'm just being honest. It was nothing there. It's nothing there. The lights are on, but nobody's home. And Mike Green, loved him coming out. I told everybody, don't crown him. He's a young pass rusher. I learned my lesson. Young pass rushers are sometimes things that take time to develop. And this could be a situation. Now, Mike Green's playing every down, which a lot of us even ask for. I'm not against. He plays the run a little better than I think, but dropping him in the coverage. And that's not on Mike Green. That's on Zach Orr and the coaching staff. But he has yet to get around. You've seen even the tape float around. You can look it up. He struggles with the tackles. He can't get around the big tackles. He does good against the tight ends and maybe some guards on the inside, but against the tackles, when you need them to win one-on-one, and that's something the Ravens have struggled with, even though they've been leaders in the league in sacks, second in sacks this year. They're last, I believe, only with 3, and Madubuike had 2. Crazy. They are a team that can't get after the quarterback, and that's another concern. The pass rush, that's been a concern because they can't close out games. They can't get stops and get off the field, and that's really something that you have to think about there as well. So, I mean, pass rush position is kind of becoming the new wide receiver position for the Baltimore Ravens. But like I said, with Harbaugh, back to my point, this is going to be where, okay, the first 3 weeks, you've seen what the coordinators are doing on defense, especially. Because when you're a head coach, when you're the CEO, you're delegating. You're not doing everything. You let your coordinators do what they need to do. You don't embarrass them in public. You don't go up to them in the middle of the game and wear them out, verbally. You kind of work on that in the locker room and at halftime and when you have time, because cameras are everywhere and perception is reality. But this is where Harbaugh needs to come in. He sees what's wrong. He's mentioned it. He talked about the tackling, the terrible run defense, the mindset, the physicality. Now, what are you going to do as a head coach to implement the things that are needed to correct those mistakes and let the season play out? And we got to see how they make the proper adjustments. That's something we've been critical of as a fan base as well. They don't make good in-game adjustments. We get the stupid Harbaugh, as we call them sometimes, Harbaugh look. That is not good. We don't want that. We don't need that for this team. Let's hear from Harbaugh talking about Madubuike not playing this week, unfortunately. And like I said, I think he will be placed on injury reserve, and I don't think there's a chance we see him again this season.
Well, yeah, I would say I am concerned about it, but I'm not really in a position to comment on it right now. I haven't been given the okay to comment on it at this point. So he's not going to play this week, I can tell you that. And we're going to have to see going forward when they know what they need to know.
So no surprise there. Looks like Madubuike, like I said, not looking good for him. But opportunity, next man up, play like a Raven. That term doesn't even seem to exist anymore. Travis Jones, I'm calling you out this game. I need to see something from you. Aeneas Peebles, I need to see something from you. Odafe Owe, I need to see something from you, because the Chiefs' offensive line is not very good. It's maybe a little better than last year, but it's not their calling card. And they got to keep Patrick Mahomes in the pocket. They got to keep the tribal chief in the pocket. They cannot let him go and run and break contain, because Mahomes is deadly with his legs as much as anybody, and he can also make plays on the run. All those fancy throw arm angles and things, you don't want that. I see you in the chat. Roquan, you look like a 0 on Monday. I don't know. You look lost and confused. Buchanan, I think he's someone that by the end of this season, he will be a contributing piece to the team. And I think we will like that pick. I like that pick. And I like him more with pads on. He doesn't impress you at practice because he, little arms running around, but he finds the football. And that's what you need at the, off-ball linebacker position as well. But the linebackers got to step up as well. But the linebackers we're getting knocked back by offensive line because the D line wasn't getting any push. So once you get to that second level and you don't have guys, like a Haloti Nana, like a Matta BK, like a Sam Adams that, Ray Lewis cried that he didn't have, in '96. So he was pouting. And then you get a big guy like that, a Saragusa. You get those type of guys. So those are things that you got to be aware of. But I'm intrigued to see what Harbaugh does, making adjustments as the head coach, the CEO. What does the D line do? Travis Jones, Aeneas Peebles, no Matta BK. So, Owe, Mike Green going into your fourth game, and Roquan and Buchanan. The front seven as a whole needs to get it together because, I don't think I'm not going to put too much on the defensive backs because they can only do but so much. But I know Marlon has to come to the party. We know that. Which Marlon's going to show up this week? The Marlon thinking about his podcast, or the Marlon ready to play football that's going to knock the ball off, that can cover as well as anybody in the slot and be a leader on this team. Kyle Hamilton, you're the highest paid safety in the NFL. It's time for you to show it. It's time to make those type of splash plays, those impact plays, those game-changing plays. Like I said, this team doesn't force turnovers. That's another concern. What is it, 27-3? They've been outscored in the postseason when it comes to turnovers. That's not going to get it done. You can't put that, like I said, you can't put that on the head coach. So some of these things the players are indeed responsible for. Let's hear from Lamar Jackson about his motivation.
So, each and every week I'm going to be motivated no matter who the opponent is, no matter where it is. I'm just trying to win.
There you go, Lamar talking about he just wants to win. I mean, brother, I ain't putting it on you. I even think there is another level if they could just block a little bit for the brother. Because, I mean, when you're running around and he escapes probably, if he got sacked 7 times, he was probably going to get sacked 12 times without his ability to make things, without his ability to make guys miss. But I ain't worried about Lamar because I think he's going to play even better. He's going to probably use more of his athleticism. They're going to use things, hopefully, in the playbook to take advantage of that. And he's going to throw touchdowns. He's going to make those Lamar Jackson plays. And I think him and his receiving core finding the balance with Walker, Wallace, and having the tight ends back, likely coming back. I think this offense will evolve even more explosive plays down the field when Lamar escapes. A guy that can make plays after the catch. You get it to Likely, he can catch it and go 50 yards. You don't have Pat Ricard. I think he will be back at some point this season. It may not be till week 9 or 10, but I think he will be back. You have him back there. Like I said, you use a Corey Bullock. You improvise and adapt. You make adjustments. And we're at a point where Lamar's going to put on that Superman cape. He's going to have to put on a Superman cape every game. He's going to have to be that guy. He's going to have to be QB1. He's going to have to be MV3, which we want. And that's what we need sometimes because he's the type of guy that you can get on his back and he will carry you through the finish line. Whether, he deserves that or not. But this is his season. There's no more excuses. There's no more ifs, ands, or buts on that side of the ball. So he's got to get it done. He's got to do what he needs to do. He needs to do what Patrick Mahomes does in the playoffs. Find a way, whatever it takes, to get the Lombardi trophy and bring it to Baltimore. Now, we did also see, this was a beautiful stat as well. Shout out to Devontae Walker. Fastest average speed on routes run in the NFL, 17.27 miles per hour. The 3 routes he gets per game are all run fast. It's either a touchdown or first down. Devontae Walker. But no, Tez made a hell of a play on Monday. I like Tez. He's a really good kid. I remember him at North Carolina, playing under, who did he play under? Mac Brown, the great Mac Brown. And if he would have stayed another year, he would have been a first-round pick. So the Ravens got a potential still there with Devontae Walker going into, I think, another year. And I think he will only continue to elevate, being around a guy like D-Hop, Zay, Bate. That will help him. If you want to dress like on Sunday, I love the white jersey with the purple pants. Ravens at Chiefs, remember, a 4:25 start as well. So that should be, I'm sure, something that's going to have us on the edge of our seats all of Sunday night. But as mentioned, we do have that. And we got, like I said, fresh sound from the coordinator today. Here's offensive coordinator Todd Monken.
It's not usually just one thing. I mean, it isn't. I mean, it's rarely like, okay, that's it. If it was, it'd be a lot easier to fix, So all of that is true. We could get the ball to his hands quicker for sure. Could we hold up longer? Could we protect it better? Could we scheme up the protections better? All of that over a course of a game or a certain amount of throws, all those are going to pop up. You just try to avoid them the best you can, and we've done a good job of that. It showed up the other night.
Like I said, Tom Monken, he's going to have to make adjustments. He's going to have to throw in a dash of unpredictability. He's going to have to throw in a dash of creativity and just use your weapons. Like I said, go get Keaton Mitchell. Use him. He's right there. He's one of the fastest players in the league. Right there, probably right beneath Lamar on the team. You put them in the backfield. You may even put him on the backfield with a Derrick Henry. I don't know. You do things to switch it up. Be creative and, throw in a little unpredictability. It would be nice to see using those weapons. Now we got Chris Horton talking about Jordan Stout. He had a fabulous day punting the ball on Monday. Let's hear from Chris Horton and the special teams. We love the special teams up here.
Jordan's doing a heck of a job, and it just starts with him and his process and his approach to the game, and doing what we're trying to get out of him, what Randy's coaching, and we just got to continue that, right? Every punt is different, every situation is going to be different, and he's striking the ball well right now, and our cover guys are covering well for him. So we just want to make sure we continue to on that path.
Yeah, Jordan Stout. I think he had a little bit of a shaky start when he came in, but he is becoming a reliable punter. And he's been developed well. One of the best special teams groups. Chris Horton and the crew do as well as anybody in the league, I think, with kickers and punters. I think sometimes we have to realize, that it takes time for guys. We can't crown a guy. We can't, crucify a guy after one season. Let's hear from Zach Orr. Actually, I want to go to Jamison Hensley because Zach Orr, we may play it twice, but Zach Orr press in an interesting way. Let's hear from Zach Orr real quick, and we'll talk about what happened to the running game after the first drive. Monken here. Let's get Monken up there. Here we go. Let's go to Monken.
We never really. After the first drive, then we went 3 and out. And we got a good drive going, moved it down there, didn't end up scoring, but then we were 2 minutes. So at halftime, we really didn't have a number of plays. We never really got in a rhythm. Running it's probably the best way to put it. Because longer runs will come as the game goes on. We never really got in a rhythm of running it. Something to do with them, something to do with the flow of the game, something to do with just calling it and execution.
So there you go. When asked about the running game and what happened to it after the first drive as well. And then we got one on the red zone issues as well. And let's go to Monken on that. About the red zone issues.
Doubt. The first play we had a chance to get it in. The second play we had a chance to get it in. Third down was probably a poor call, to go lateral. That put us, we lost yards on that play. And that's been, people ask why the red zone numbers are a little bit down. And it is a small sample size. We're 4 for 4 when we don't go backwards and have a penalty. And we're 2 for 7 when we do. And that's going to happen. And when you go backwards, and to be really good in the red zone scoring touchdowns, you have to be able to run it. Which we are able to do, and then having an athletic quarterback allows you to utilize him in the run game, and also he can make plays when things aren't there and there's tighter windows, and Lamar's proven to do that. So, it just was unfortunate. It's the best way to put it. We had the same kind of scenario against the Browns where we, threw it up first down, got a penalty, backs up. Then we unfortunately didn't secure the catch, and those are blown opportunities that we can't let get away.
Yeah, they got to be better in the red zone. Short yardage, I talked about that. So that is a concern on offense. Defense, we talked about the lack of forcing turnovers, the pass rush, and stopping the run. Now, we did get some news on Todd Monken talking about likely he's hopeful that he will play. This is the second week of practicing. So looks like Isaiah Leckley, as I mentioned, is on track. His media session by saying And I quote, "New week, new opportunity. You can't let last week's loss linger into this week." Matter of fact, let's hear him say it right now.
Week, new opportunity. It's a week-to-week league. Things go by fast. You can't, obviously last week was disappointing for us as a team, especially as a defense. But, it's Thursday of game week. We got the Chiefs on Sunday. You can't let this, the last loss linger into the next week. So, we've been having a good week of practice, good day. The guys been responding.
Or is made of this week as well, because he's going to have to call a hell of a game. But I think also something I heard that is very, very true. Keep it simple, stupid. It's a simple game. If you tackle well and you block well, and you don't make self-inflicted mistakes, you have a good chance of winning. And I say that because if the Ravens can tackle well, not make self-inflicted mistakes, and block well on Sunday and on most Sundays or Saturdays or Thursdays or Fridays or Mondays, whenever they play now, every day, they are one of the best teams in the NFL. And we'll look at the schedule, because I don't think Ravens fans realize, it may be a tough start. If they do start 1-3, they still can win this division. Joe Burrow's not there. The Steelers are up and down, and the Browns are the Browns. So we will indeed see what happens there. But Zach Orr said he spoke with Nnamdi Madubuike, and he said how cool he was in good spirits when he spoke to him at or on Madubuike.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, man. I mean, he's in good spirits. I don't necessarily know what's going on. All I can do is just pray for him. When I talk to him, he was in good spirits. So, my thoughts and prayers with him. I know how bad he wants to be out here and play football. It's a lifelong dream. He's playing well. I thought he was having one of his best seasons up to date. I was crushed when he was going through whatever he's going through last week, and me seeing him in good spirits and with a smile on the face playing around was great. So hopefully, we see him back soon.
I don't buy that he doesn't know what's going on. I feel like if I'm a defensive coordinator and I'm a dog and I want the best players on my defense so I can look good of the plays that I call, wouldn't I know why one of my best players, one of my best run stoppers, one of my best leaders, one of my best pass rushers, one of my best enforcers isn't able to play? Like, I wouldn't know the injury or have some type of idea of what it is besides a neck. Like I said, it's been 2 weeks now. So by this time next week, we need to know something that's going on. Is he getting placed on IR? Is his season over? We got guys who tear the ACL, and by the next day, we know what's going on. We got Achilles injuries called by that night. You know what I mean? Or most of us, if we watch the game and we know, we could say, "Oh, that's an ACL. Oh, that's an Achilles. Oh, that's an ankle." CD Lamb, they knew after the game, at least 2 weeks. So, we don't know what's going on with his neck. I'm sure they've got an X-ray after X-ray and, first, second, third, fourth, fifth opinions. They have to have an idea. And I would want to know, as someone on the inside, a coach, why isn't he playing? Okay, the neck. What about the neck? Okay, neck injuries aren't anything to play with. Could be season, could be career ending. But what is preventing him from not being able to play? We need to know, because now we're speculating. And when you assume, you make an ass out of you and me. So that's something I do as well. But we got we got more from Zach Orr, and he was talking about the run defense for the Ravens. Let's get Zach Orr back up here one more time, and then we'll get to the Kyle Hamilton sound as well.
Not doing our job, man. So we got to play better. We got to coach better. It wasn't one particular person, one particular group. It was guys just who were misstep or slow step in certain areas on certain plays. And when you go against a good team, and especially good running backs like that, good offensive line, they're gonna make you pay, and they did that.
So what's it more of a?
They got to stop the run. They got to do whatever it takes to stop the run first and foremost on Sunday, because Andy Reid is going to take advantage of your weakness. He's one of the best offensive minds, one of the best coaching minds ever. They know we can't stop the run. And the Chiefs can't run the ball well, but they're going to pound the rock. They're going to do some of the things that the Lions did. Pacheco hasn't looked like himself, but he still got to make plays. Kareem Hunt hasn't looked like he looked last year, but he still got to make plays. Like I said, that goes into the offensive line because the offensive line is going to be a key for them. The defensive line against the offensive line will be a big key in this game, as it is in every game, really, in the trenches. And I think how the Ravens' offensive line deal with the Chiefs' defensive line will be a key as well because, if the Ravens can get pressure, get stops on first and second down, set up third and long, keep Mahomes in the pocket, get pressure, things like that, stop the run, they'll have a chance. And it may cause for more run blitzing. It may cause for more putting Kyle Hamilton in the box. It may call for, like you said, having Kyle Hamilton maybe play that linebacker position next to Roquan, and you add in another DB. There are things that can be done. Keon Martin, I think, has looked good when he got limited snaps. So, the undrafted guy, you got to put, see what we can do, see what we can bring to the table, and really bring in some guys that can hopefully stop the run. Like I said, Peebles, Jenkins, Jones. I want to see you guys come to the party, the whole front seven. I want to see Mike Green. Each week he's gotten a tad better. I will say that. He made a couple plays. He shouldn't be dropped back in coverage. Like I said, that's the play his coach gave to him. But let's see them continue to get better. And let's see Mike Green go get one. You're going up against a rookie in Josh Simmons, Ohio State, rookie on rookie. This should be the week you do it. You want to make a name for yourself. You want to make an impact. Go sack Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. That would be also hear from Zach, or he was talking about hopefully we're seeing Namdi back.
He's in good spirits. I don't necessarily know what's going on. All I can do is just pray for him. When I talked to him, he was in good spirits. So, my thoughts and prayers with him. I know how bad he wants to.
So it's basically the same cut I just played. So that's the same cut. He's in good wants to. Yeah. And let's hear him talk about takeaways as well. Zach Orr talking about takeaways. This is a key, like I said.
We've been working. Our guys been intentional about it. Obviously, we didn't get any Monday night. But it's tough if you don't get any takeaways. That means you just have to consistently get off the field, and that's just tough to do in this league. You have to take the ball away, get off the field, create short drives, create negatives for the offense to really be a top defense. So I agree with Marlon in that aspect of you get takeaways. A lot of those plays that you give up, they go away. So that's definitely something we have to do.
Where the hell is Marlon Humphrey? Is he not talking to anybody today? I mean, I'm sure he probably is, but his ass need to be out there. That's all I'm saying. So, that's something I want to see. But we got Zach Orr talking about the losses and how it feels when they don't play up to standard. About a minute cut, so we'll play that.
First and foremost, every loss, man, and every time we don't go out there and we feel like we don't play up to our standards, it's heartbreaking to me. Like I've always, since I was younger, my mom always told me you never take losses well, and I still don't. But I understand now as I get older, you got to move forward. So no, I mean the loss definitely stung Monday night into Tuesday morning. But like I said, it's a week-to-week league. I've been around. I understand that you got to move forward and you got to put that behind you. And as far as blocking out distractions, a lot of stuff that you guys are telling me, I had no idea about because I'm not on social media. I'm like just blocked off from all the noise out there, man. And that's good. I think that when you can do that and you don't listen to, you can really focus in on what's important and what you got to get done. Because if you listen to that and you pay attention to that, it can definitely affect you with your job and just in your regular life. So I just block out the noise, man, focusing on football. That's what we talk about here, and just focusing on getting better.
Yeah, it's a big week for Mr. Orr. Big week. You're playing the Chiefs. People are down on you. What can you do? Do you have it in you as a coordinator to? Hey, we got breaking news. That's why I was staying on here. So, Trevor Rogers will pitch tomorrow as well in Yankee Stadium. So there you go. But we got the injury report. Today's injury report. Here we go. And breaking right here on the Flex Zone. I'm glad I came on here around this time. So shout out to everybody tuning in with us. Make sure you hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell. Watching on X, coming over to YouTube as well. So let's look at it. Travis Jones, he is back. Isaiah Likely limited today. I think we will see him on Sunday because he's limited today. They practice tomorrow. I think it will be a situation where he plays. I think he'll play. I think he'll play, even if it's a limited faction where he may only get 20 plays, if that. I think he plays. So that'll be something to really to. I also will say, looks like Matabike, as we know, is out. Ricard not practicing. Ronnie Stanley didn't practice. Like I said, if Stanley doesn't practice tomorrow, I think Stanley practices tomorrow, even if it's in a limited capacity. And I think he plays. I think it's just more of a precautionary thing, which I understand. But if it has to miss a game, that would be detrimental because, like I said, Karlaftis, Jones, Amenahue, Dana, they got some guys that can blitz on the outside, Bolton. So they have a very, very tough matchup either way with if Ronnie plays or not. But they definitely have a lot of potential, things that they could struggle with against the Chiefs. Manoy didn't practice. Project Washington, who, like I said, he hasn't done anything since he signed that contract. He is out as well. So there you have it. There you go with the injury report today on the Flex Zone podcast. So there you go. You get the breaking news, the breaking injury report news here on the show. We got more from locker room as we Hamilton, who I do give first out there, first on the scene to talk after a win, after a loss, and stand in front of the media. So gotta love that from a leadership perspective, but not any really major surprise on the injury report. Let's hear from Kyle Hamilton today in the locker room.
What was the last part? It's just a matter of you guys making more plays. Yeah, I don't think it's whatever criticism he's getting. I don't know. I feel like sometimes Ravens fans can be a little spoiled, just like the amount of success that this franchise has had. We lose 5 games and the world's about to end. I think on Zach, it's unfair to put all the blame on him when there's 11 guys out there on the field that are playing their hearts off, and he's put us in the right positions. It's just a matter of us doing the right stuff, and that's where I feel like the critiques of Zach or whatever coaches are unfair because he can't go out there and play for us. And as much as he wants to, he can't. So it's up to us to go out and get the job done. So it's not a Zach thing. It's not a coaching thing on the defensive side of the ball. It's just players got to get the stuff right.
I agree. Players have to take some accountability, but it has to be a glove on hand fit. It has to work together. So the players got to have the mentality. The coaches have to empower them with that mentality during the week leading into the game and put them in the right positions to be successful. So that is something that we will hear from as well. And
We know
we're talking about Kyle Hamilton again, talking about proving themselves every week.
Get back to what we know. We got to prove ourselves every week in this league, and we didn't do a good job last week, but we got another week this week in a big game, and it's a big opportunity for us. So sky's not falling, so we'll be all right, and I think we should attack this game.
Definitely, sky is not falling, and we got Kyle Hamilton here talking about the path that has been difficult the past couple of years.
I'm not really sure. I'm not a coach, so I don't really want to give my 2 cents on it. Not that I have any, because I don't. I feel like we're doing all the right things. It's just when game time comes, we need to put on tape. So I don't know. I feel like we've given ourselves the hardest path these past couple of years, and but we end up in a good spot last year. So I feel like if we get it corrected even sooner this year, we'll be in a better spot.
From Kyle, like I said, he's a hell of a player, but it's time for him to make those game-changing plays, game-altering plays, momentum-shifting plays that he's paid to do at his position. So I did want to get into the schedule real quick before I got out of here. I know we got a lot of great content on the channel for you guys to check out, so make sure if you haven't already, go get lost in some of that content on the channel. We will be live a little previewing the Washington Commanders and the Atlanta Falcons this Sunday. And, of course, after that game, maybe a little earlier so we can get ready for the Ravens game because we'll be live after Ravens Chiefs. We'll be live for the Washington Commanders post-game show, but we will be doing the preview for that game tonight as we head into Thursday night football, and we are in week 4 of the NFL season already, week 5 of college football, and they got a crazy good slate this weekend as well. But Georgia, Alabama, one of the notable games as well, so it's going to be a great game. Oregon travels to Penn State, the whiteout, that's going to be a big game. So college football on Saturday, and then on Sunday the NFL. So we'll be live tonight previewing the Commanders, and on Sunday live for the post-game show after that. And of course, after each Ravens post-game, we bring the post-game show to you here on the Flex Zone podcast. We'll be live for that as well. But I did want to take a quick look at the schedule and everything heading into week 4 of the NFL. But as you can see, the Ravens schedule after this week, you know, even if they are 1-3, you got the Texans, that's a winnable game. The Rams, a winnable game. Bears, still a winnable game. At Dolphins, at Vikings, at Browns, Jets, Bengals, Steelers, Bengals, Patriots, Packers, Steelers. I don't see, even if they are 1-3 worst case, I don't see more than another 2 or 3 losses. You know what I mean? Just, you know, I think they'll beat up on Houston, honestly. I think they can't score, in my opinion. I think they will. I just think they will. The Bears, I know the Bears are playing better, but at home, I think they can pull that out. Miami will be a winnable game, I think, in my opinion, going back to Florida, Lamar, and others. I mean, don't get me wrong. At Minnesota will be tough. At Cleveland will be tough, but the Jets, Bengals, Steelers all at home. And then you go to Cincinnati without Joe Burrow, potentially still. Patriots at home. Go to Green Bay, that could be tough. And then the Steelers. But like I said, I don't see maybe more than another, regular season-wise, 3 losses, even if they lose this week. So, you know, 11-6, 12-5, that'll still win you the AFC North. I think this is a playoff team. We can't jump off the boat. We can't jump out the plane without a parachute and say, oh, the season's over. Oh, no, they're not going to do anything. Oh, it's over with. No, it's a long way to go. It's still, you know, we're going into week 4. We got 18 weeks of this, okay? You know, we still got, 14 games left? 14? You gotta bring an A game each and every day, but it's going to be intriguing. The season isn't over yet, but that happens there as well. But week 4 starts tonight, Thursday night football, as it will be NFC West showdowns the next 2 weeks. We got the rivalry jerseys coming out tonight. We got rivalry matchups, and that starts tonight on Prime. Seahawks, Cardinals. Next week will be Rams, 49ers. So I'm going with the Seahawks. Mike McDonald. I know a lot of people want him here in Baltimore as the head coach. I think that defense and the running game will prevail them to victory. Cardinals lose James Conner. That will be a tough loss to come back from. And Marvin Harrison Jr., man, he's dropping passes. Man, he dropped. I don't know what's dropping faster. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's like just ridiculous that he was what he was in Ohio State and what he is now. I don't have any explanation for it, and I'm very confused as to what's going on. So, yeah, he's dropping passes like he dropped soap in jail or something, man. It's not cool no more. But I'm going with the Seahawks over the Cardinals, I think, game. We also have Vikings and Steelers from Ireland. I actually like the Steelers. I know both defenses are good. I think Aaron Rodgers plays a little bit better than Carson Wentz, and the Steelers get the win there. Commanders, I think the Commanders get a win. Maybe Jaden Daniels plays. I know he practiced, but even if it's Mariota, I think Commanders win at home. Saints, Bills, I mean, come on now, look at the spread. 16 points a game. 16 points. So there you go. I think the Bills run away with this one by halftime. Ain't going to be nothing much more to say of that one. Browns, Lions. The Browns can't keep up with the Lions' firepower. I think the Lions pull away and get a big, big win. Patriots, Panthers. Patriots and Panthers, 2 teams that need a win here, but I think the Patriots at home with their defense prevail. Hopefully they don't turn the ball over 5 times. Chargers face Jackson, Dart, and the Giants. He's making his NFL debut. What a defense to face in your first start. I thought they would wait till next week when he goes back to New Orleans and plays the Saints in the Superdome, but you know, it is what it is. I think the Chargers are red hot and could potentially win the AFC West, especially if the Chiefs are 1-3, 2-4, 2-5, you know, because I think the Chiefs will be better later when they get Rice back. Worthy looks like he's on track to play, so we'll see. We shall see. Eagles, Bucks, that'll be a great 1:00 window game, 2 undefeated teams. Can the Buccaneers stop the Eagles enough because I think the Bucs will be able to score. Can they stop the Eagles, though? Because the Eagles seem to open up the playbook. Jalen Hurts throwing the ball more down the field, getting A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith the ball. And Saquon Barkley only has 194 yards so far. So he's not even getting started yet. You know he's going to have a bust-out game. Now, like I said, the Buccaneers, can their D-line hold up and stop the Philly offense, especially the ground game? He's only averaging 3.34 yards a carry. So I think Saquon will get it going. And Ekbuka having a really good rookie campaign starting out. Titans, Texans. I don't see the Texans starting 0-4, and I can see the Titans. I don't know if they'll have the number one pick because you got teams like the Saints, but could they be in the top 3 again? I mean, that would serve them right. They need a lot of pieces, especially the offensive lineman to protect Cam Ward. But I think the Texans pull out a win here. This will probably be a low-scoring, ugly game anyway, because the Texans only 38 points in 3 games. So yeah, Colts, Rams, 3-0 Colts. I think first their toughest test yet is going to the West Coast. I think the Rams win, but this could be a closer game than people think. I think 4 points is about fair. I think the Rams get the win. Shout out to Brother Thoughts. The Rams. Jaguars, 49ers now. 49ers, I think, will win, but the Jaguars have a chance to win this game because their defense keeps them in games really good. Trevor Lawrence is going to be the key. Can he make plays in this game? I don't know. No Nick Bosa, but I think Kyle Shanahan may still give him some trouble. Robert Saleh and all those guys out there, so we'll see. Of course, Ravens, Chiefs, you'll get my full preview this week. Baltimore still favored by 2.5, though. Bears, Raiders, that could go either way. I mean, I kind of like the Bears. I don't really trust what the Raiders are doing. And Packers, Cowboys, Michael Parsons returns to whoop up on the Cowboys, who look done. I mean, Clowney went to the Cowboys. I don't know why he didn't. I mean, I don't know if the Ravens didn't contact him, like you said. I don't know if the Ravens didn't want to give him the money he wanted. I don't know if he didn't want to participate in training camp. Even if he didn't want to participate in training camp, he could have still, been here, just, practice every now and then, or just do walkthroughs. Don't just stand on the sideline, look pretty. But he goes to Dallas, where he will indeed suffer. It is what it is. Monday night, a scintillating doubleheader. Just Dolphins, who gets their first win, and Bengals, Broncos, no Joe Burrow. So, damn, I would have loved to see Joe Burrow going to Denver. That would have been a nice evening game. I might have picked the Bengals if that was the case, but the Broncos look to get to 2-2 as they have high expectations this season. I think that's pretty much all I got, everybody. Thank you for joining me. Appreciated you on this Thursday afternoon. As I said, Thursday, which I like to call Friday Eve. We are rocking and rolling. We got a big, big weekend ahead just content. You know how we can roll. You guys know how we like to do. We will be live this weekend for WWE NXT No Mercy. I'm looking forward to that show, actually. I think it's going to be a fun time Saturday night at 7. I may go live tomorrow, do previews and predictions. We'll see. Or if not, just do a pre-upload and just do it that way. We'll rock out, give you my preview and predictions that way. Of course, Sunday, we got the Washington Commanders post-game show, the Baltimore Ravens post-game show. And Friday, we'll live for SmackDown. Can't forget that. We'll probably throw in some TNA Victory Road, so we'll put that in there as well. Tonight, we'll be live with my brother, the Commander Lorian Cravante, previewing Commanders, Falcons. And, of course, if you missed the episode on Monday, we were live for the Ravens game, live for Raw, as we are every week, live for NXT, and live for Dynamite last night. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Thank you for watching. I seen you in there. Shout out to Justin in the chat, Don in the chat, Doc David in the chat. What's going on, guys? Roger in the chat, as always, the social media producer. Miss Yolanda, salute. Shout out to you and the good brother Hendo from the Rogue Pod. Do their Friday Q&As, their live streams of the games, their Ravens content in between as well. So thank you. Tanisha, Miss Johnson, you don't trust Harbs. Let it play out. Let's see what adjustments he makes. And hopefully we don't see that dumb look on his face. And let's see if they can keep a lead, if they get a double-digit lead in the fourth quarter. So appreciate everybody in the chat. Alex, can't forget you as always. Appreciate your questions. I don't know if he catches Aaron Judge. Like I said, I think he hits at least one more. If he's going to tie it, I just want him to break it. I don't want them both to have 62. But if he's got 60, I think he gets at least one more. Now, does he hit 2 more to tie? I don't know. Now, 3 more to break the record. He could hit 2 in one game, 3 in one game. But I don't know. He may not even play. So we'll see. I think he gets at least one more, though. He maybe finishes 1 short. So we'll see. But, yeah, we'll see the Tigers if they continue to choke. What's going on, Devontrez? What's going on, Miss Siobhan Deshawn? What's up, everybody? Thank you guys for watching. Make sure you vote on the poll if you haven't already. Become a member. Hey, you get custom emotes, custom content, and the first to know when new videos are on the way and merch coming soon. As always, make sure you hit that thumbs up. It costs you nothing, but it helps us be pushed to the recommended to the YouTube algorithm. So other people who like the Ravens, who like baseball, who like the Orioles, who like great content on the YouTube airways when it comes to sports and pro wrestling, find us here. And as always, hit the bell to know when all of our content drops, a lot of it. So check it out, lots to get lost into. And as always, super chats aren't obligated, but appreciated. The best way to support what we do here costs you nothing. We appreciate each one of you watching this today. I'm getting out of here, and I'll see you tonight with Cravante to preview Commanders heading to the ATL to face the Falcons. And we will be here rocking out and talking about it. I mean, I think, Miss Yolanda, appreciate your question. I think they need to put Corey Bullock in. They like to bring in Ben Cleveland and No Boom. I want to see Corey Bullock bought in. They need to execute on short yardage because teams are putting 8 in the box, a spy on Lamar, and they're playing that contained defense man across the board. You have to be physical at the point of attack. You have to get a push in the run game. Falele, Rosengard, Linderbaum. They need to be more creative. That's what I said. Be more innovative. Be more unpredictable. Maybe double team at the point of attack certain guys. More pulling. Maybe a little zone blocking schemes added into it. There are a lot of ways that they can go with upgrading this run attack because this is one of the best run teams of all time. I believe now they're ranked, 15th currently in football and running the football. When have you heard that from the Ravens? Middle of the pack and running the football, and last, not only in the pass defense, which, okay, yeah, that was the same last year before they fixed it after the bye, but last against the run? That's something the Ravens never did. And like I said, giving up multiple drives of over 90-plus yards, that's just, I mean, Jesus Christ. Art Modell's rolling over in his grave. I mean, Jesus Christ. Marvin Lewis rolling over in his grave. I mean, who else? It's one of those crazy situations. But I said the key to this game, Miss Yolanda, as I said, is going to be the offensive line of the Ravens protecting Lamar against Chris Jones, George Karlaftis, Amenahu, Bolton, Mike Dana, Trent McDuffie on the outside with their blitzing. Steve Spagnuolo, in my opinion, and I'll get into this in my preview this week, is the greatest defensive coordinator of all time. His ability to bring pressure. One of my keys is going to be handle the blitz. How do the Baltimore Ravens handle the blitz of the Kansas City Chiefs? Because he's seen what other teams have done. He's seen what Jim Schwartz, a good defensive coordinator, has done. He's seen what Calvin Shepard, a young up-and-coming defensive coordinator, has done. It's a copycat lead, and he's going to add his own spin to it. So he likes to bring pressure. He likes to switch things up. He likes to blitz his corners and his safety. So you're going to get a little bit of everything. They got to be able to handle the blitz and protect Lamar. Don't let him get sacked more than once or twice. Let's keep his sacks under 2 or 3. Let's keep him upright. We don't want your quarterback continuing to get hit after hit after hit. But I think the Chiefs have a really good D-line. But I think the key is going to be, like I said, maybe getting the ball out a little quicker, being more decisive. Lamar if you're gonna take off, go ahead and take off. It's no problem. But he has to be decisive. And we cannot see you guys get frustrated on the outside. We don't want to see you guys throwing helmets, Derrick Henry falling over, Lamar Jackson throwing up his hands. Those are things that we don't need to see. You need to weather the storm, come together as a unit, and make the proper plays that you need to have there as well. I think that is very, very important and very, very imperative to what this team needs to do. So we will indeed see what happens with them as they head into what's going to happen, the potential of a winning Kansas City. Like I said, if they go to 1-3, the season isn't over, but the key is going to be the offensive line handling their defensive line, handling the blitz pressure of the Chiefs, and defensively, can they stop the run, and can they keep Patrick Mahomes in the pocket and get some pressure on him? Don't let him escape. Don't let him make the Mahomes magic. Make those highlight reel, no-look passes with the arm angles and him linear at 90 degrees, throwing the football and making great plays. Remember the regular season game where they threw the ball to Tyreek Hill. He got away and made a great play. You think about the AFC Championship game, just some of the plays he was able to make. The times they've had to go there last season with the toe. He's made some plays where he got outside the pocket and was able to get 5 or 6 yards, extend plays, get a first down, extend drives, and even be able to, like I said, he can hurt you with his legs. He don't mind running for 20 or 30 yards. And he'll give you a pump fake. He'll give you a juke. He'll put his shoulder down. And like I said, Andy Reid is going to try to take advantage of our weakness, which is running the ball. You see him pumping up Zach Orr. Oh, he's a great defensive coordinator. I got a lot of respect for those guys. Coach speak. Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure you do. A lot of respect, because when you seen that tape, when you seen the film, your eyes lit up. And you said, "Oh, I can take advantage of this. I can run the ball. I got Xavier Worthy coming back. I'm going to throw in some trickeration, some things we maybe never seen before. So you may see different types of things." And that's why I said the defensive line of the Ravens, first and foremost, has to stop the run, and then the guys in the front seven have to contain Pat Mahomes. Don't let him get outside the pocket, and bring some pressure on him if you can. If he throws for 350 and you keep him in the pocket, and you're forcing him to beat man coverage one-on-one, I want to see Jair Alexander. I want to see Keaton Mitchell. I want to see these guys making plays. I want to see Kyle Hamilton moving around like the chess piece he is. I want to see those types of things as well. So, I mean, I think they'll play. They can't play worse this week, right? 7 sacks last week. They can't play worse. And I think the Lions have a better pass rush than the Chiefs. I guess, Aiden Hutchinson. But Chris Jones up the middle, bigger guys give Linderbaum a problem. So I think they're going to have to help Linderbaum out on the inside. Like I said, no Pat Ricard is going to hurt. But, what do they do offensively? Do they double team more? Do they chip a little more? Do they, like I said, we need something from Justice Hill. I mean, Justice Hill is a great pass blocker, but he's giving us nothing. That's why I said having Keaton Mitchell, a quick screen game, getting into Zay Flowers, getting into maybe one of his tight ends, likely if he's back, Andrews. Those types of things are going to help slow down the pass rush. And like I said, we have to keep faith in Derrick Henry. We know he's not a spring chicken. Yes, we know he's over 30, and that's where running backs supposedly jump and fall off the cliff. But this guy does those workouts. He is built like a Greek god. I know he's fumbled. I think it's been more of a time and place thing. I don't think it's really him being careless. And I think he'll be okay. I think we have to give him a little grace. And there's been crucial punch outs that have caused some turnovers. But I think when push comes to shove and they can get things corrected the right way, I do think that they will be able to run the football effectively again. And I think that they will be able to hopefully, like I said, trust Derrick Henry, because when he runs for over 100 yards, they've only lost one game, and that was in Buffalo this week. So you got to feed the beast. But teams are not going to let him get going, because once you get a guy like that going, he gets lathered up, he gets the momentum, he gets those legs turning. And his problem is he has to keep those legs moving, because once those legs stop and that momentum stops, you're susceptible to getting things punched out. Things the Ravens need to be doing on defense. Marlon Humphrey, Kyle Hamilton, Roquan Smith, punch the ball out. If the ball's out there, go for it. Go for a strip. It won't hurt. But they can't get beat, out physical, bullied, intimidated. It's going to be a big game. The crowd's going to be doing a hop, chop, the maybe culturally inappropriate, Native American gestures. But that's what it's going to be. And we'll see what happens there as well on Sunday afternoon. I actually like the 4:00 games. Those are kind of my favorite windows, because it's not at 1. So if I want to, do something during the day early on and, rest up, do some things I need to do, I can get to the game at 4. Then at 4, it's done. Still got the rest of the night. It's not too late. We do the post game. Get it. Got it. Everybody is happy there. So as mentioned, we got the injury report. If you didn't, we got week 4 starting tonight. So make sure you chat in with us. We'll be live tonight covering Commanders and Falcons preview of that game. As mentioned, Isaiah Likely was limited, so I hope we get to see Likely this weekend. Travis Jones looks like he will be good. And the biggest key, though, is Ronnie Stanley, like I said, with the ankle. Like I said, I think Ronnie plays. I think it's more of a precautionary thing. But if he doesn't, does Rosengarten go to right tackle or stay at right tackle or go to left? Or does Noteboom come in at left tackle and he gets some help? But like I said, put Corey Bullock in the game. Use that brother. He's a Terp. He's a good player. One of the best players of this offseason / training camp season and preseason has been Corey Bullock, especially on the offensive side of the ball when it comes to the offensive line. So that's going to be something that we're going to be looking forward to see as well. I want to see Keaton Mitchell too, Miss Yolanda. We all want to see Keaton Mitchell. There's no reason that brother should not be on the field Sunday. If he's not on the active roster Sunday, if he's on the inactives again, I'm going nuclear. I'm going full Mount Vesuvius. I'm going nuclear. I'm going full, Hiroshima, because I don't know. I may blow a gasket, but I want to see Keaton Mitchell because, like I said, he can outrun angles. He can outrun the defense. He can outrun the guys that chase him. He has that home run hitting mentality, capability. He is someone that, like we saw on Monday, like I said, Jahmyr Gibbs is a perfect example of that. Even David Montgomery. I didn't know he had that in him. Like I said, I've said it multiple times, but Keaton Mitchell, he's the fastest player on the team next to Lamar. Get him outside. Use Lamar and him with the read option. Use some option plays. Use different things. You have a Ferrari in the garage. You got to take it out once in a while and drive it. You got two of them, Lamar and Keaton. Whatever your advice is with cars, but we'll see what they do. We'll keep it posted, and we'll keep rocking and rolling. Shout out to Miss Yolanda. Go subscribe to our channel. Check her out in Hendo and the Rogue Pod. Great content over there as well. Everybody in the chat, Musical Entourage, thank you for coming. But stay tuned this weekend. You'll be previewing Ravens, Chiefs. We got NXT No Mercy. We got SmackDown, Victory Road, and of course, Ravens and Commanders content on Sunday and back on Monday with the illustrious, the wonderful Nitro, the Winnikin Show as our special guest. So we'll keep you posted on all of that. Check out all the great content, interviews, and all the live streams and content each and every day. Thank you guys for rocking with me. Have a great Thursday. And of course, if it is happy hour wherever you are, enjoy responsibly. But we out of here putting the kids and get them some lunch. And we'll be back to do more content a little bit later. As we mentioned, we'll be covering the Commanders and Falcons. And we'll see what's happening as Jaden Daniels did practice. So we'll see what his status is for Sunday. And stay tuned with us. We'll see you when we see you. Let us know. We talked about it all. Orioles, a little MLB playoff talk, which we will be previewing this week as well. And the NFL and the Ravens, 1-2, looking to avoid being 1-3, going against the Kansas City Chiefs. Another one of those teams they can't seem to beat, no matter when it is. So we'll see what happens. And if they can get it done in Arrowhead on Sunday, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the you're watching on X coming over to YouTube, and make sure you come on over, vote on the poll, hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't, become a member if you'd like to, Cash App, Flex Zone 1, all social media to Flex Zone 1 as well. I'm getting out of here. Have a great day, everybody. Thank you for watching. We will see you later with more content here on the Flex Zone Podcast, only place giving you sports how you want it, when you need it. Have a good day, everybody. Thank you for watching.
Tell me how, I got nothing to say.